Welcome back to KittyDiva. Today, we unlock a horrifying, deeply disturbing case of absolute greed, betrayal, and a brilliant mind trapped in total darkness. Lock your doors, and let's get into it. In 2003, a highly successful professor at Cairo University's Faculty of Science made a choice that would seal his doom. He was a deeply respected man, a proud father who raised his 4 children with the finest upbringing, even seeing 2 of them follow his footsteps to become university professors themselves. But as his children grew up and got busy with their own families, the aging, lonely professor decided to remarry. He chose a 33-year-old woman named Amal. In the beginning, she moved into his penthouse in Al Omrania, but soon fierce jealousy and bitter friction erupted between Amal and the professor's children. They couldn't stand her, and she despised them. Being successful and financially independent, the children chose to step back and leave the apartment, wanting their father to live in peace. Yet, every time they visited, Amal ensured they faced endless drama, until the children completely cut contact with the household, just to avoid the agonizing headache. For a while, temporary happiness returned when Amal gave birth to a son, and the professor was overjoyed. But 6 years into the marriage, tragedy struck without warning. A sudden, aggressive disease completely destroyed his optic nerves, leaving him entirely blind. Trapped in total blackness, the shattered professor became a hopeless prisoner in his own home, barely able to navigate between the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom. Amal became his only eyes and his merciless master. She completely dominated his life, taking absolute control of his property, his bank accounts, and his vast life savings. But soon, the blind professor felt an eerie, terrifying presence inside the house. His sight was gone, but God had sharpened his remaining senses. His hearing, touch, and smell became razor sharp. Even though Amal insisted it was just him and their young boy, he constantly detected a strange, pungent, raw odor lingering in the apartment. Amal mocked him, aggressively claiming he was hallucinating. In reality, Amal had fallen desperately in love with a 32-year-old live poultry seller named Nader, who ran a shop right at the bottom of their building. Using a power of attorney, Amal ruthlessly drained every single penny from the professor's bank accounts, giving it to Nader under the guise of an investment. Even worse, she forged a secret customary marriage contract with Nader. Whenever the professor was sitting blindly in the living room, Nader would boldly sneak into the apartment to sleep with Amal, sometimes hiding directly under the professor's bed. To cover her tracks, Amal introduced Nader to her husband as her long-lost brother. But the professor's heightened sense of smell instantly caught the truth. The moment he met the brother, he recognized the exact raw chicken stench that had been haunting his home. He knew this man was an imposter living in his house. When the professor furiously confronted her about his stolen wealth and her stained honor, Amal's cruelty completely exploded. She banned him from going to his local cafe, seized his phone, locked him inside, and for 3 agonizing years never let him take a single step near the door. Whenever Amal stepped out, the desperate professor would crawl to the windows or violently shake the front door, shouting to neighbors and passerby, "Please, I am Professor Farouk. Bring me a phone. Let me call my children." But whenever Amal caught him, she would brutally beat him, tie his fragile body with ropes, lock the windows, and leave him groaning in pain. Fearing he would eventually expose their twisted affair, Amal and Nader decided they had to eliminate him before they were caught. One night, they coldly murdered the blind professor. To permanently erase the crime, they hacked his body into 8 pieces. Nader packed the human remains into heavy plastic bags and threw them into the garbage dumpster directly across from his shop, intentionally mixing the flesh with raw poultry waste, rotting chicken heads, feathers, and severed feet, fully believing the horrific stench would be dismissed as animal blood. But divine justice was watching. The garbage truck was delayed until the following day, and a catastrophic, sickening stench began to fill the entire street. Horrified neighbors alerted the authorities. When the police investigated the dumpster, they unearthed a human body hacked into 8 pieces, completely mixed with chicken waste. The trail led straight to the poultry shop right across the street. Nader cracked instantly under intense interrogation, spilling the entire story and throwing Amal under the bus. Both were immediately arrested. Heartbreakingly, just days prior, the professor's children had actually filed multiple legal complaints with the police, demanding forced entry to see their father after 3 long years of forced isolation, only to discover the hellish prison he had suffered and died in. Amal and her wicked lover Nader were both sentenced to death by execution. Justice was finally served. If this gripping, tragic mystery moved you, please subscribe to KittyDiva, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends. See you next time.